So once again, we are back at the site of the Layton Trophy Cabin, and despite the fact that to this point, it's been a very slow process, we're really starting to get somewhere with this lodge. Now, there's a couple of trolls we still need to replace. Obviously the elk back there, the wild boar from our last hunt, those were trolls. But we're headed back to Layton Lake today. We talked about at the end of the last video, maybe trying to get a black bear for up there. I was thinking too, as much as I think about just getting diamonds for this series, a color phase bear up there would be awesome. So we're going to try to place at least a little emphasis on bears and see what else we can find out here. And not a bad way to start this. We've snuck in here to 35 meters on this black bear. And our kind of big game weapon for today is the Olsen 308. I think this thing is underrated for being one of the best looking weapons in the game. Gonna try to slot this through like the back into the lungs. Can't really see what we're doing, but definitely got vital blood. I thought I maybe heard another one take off down to the right, but the customization of this, I think this is maybe the Hirschfeld and spruce wood and some stainless steel metal on the barrel. I just love what this gun looks like. And straight away, it's helped us in taking down a black bear. 19 to 21, I think its estimate was, a golden 19.32. Just the dark variant, but ooh, really close. Shot him like almost through the shoulder. Just got the very top of that lung, but took him down there at 35 meters. And I will be honest, I don't know much about where black bears are primarily on Layton now. I know Belmont used to be really good. I'm not sure if that's still the case, so we're going to swing up through Willowpeg and into Chopeka, and then probably down through here, and just kind of see what happens. It's something that we typically wouldn't do hunting Layton, so I feel like that's a good way to try to encounter stuff that we don't see as much. You know, we might not see a ton of bears going up through here. We also may run into some. I genuinely don't know what's in Chopeka these days. I'm pretty confident there are white-tailed jackrabbit, and that is, I guess, the one rabbit species now that we don't have in the lodge. We did get the European rabbit from Hirschfelden, so that certainly would be a welcome encounter. Also got a level 6 coyote scooting up through there. I don't think we're getting that shot. And I want to say that's a solo. I've got a track, 21 to 24 kg, so it's probably that one. And this is the area where we killed our 1000 coyote all those years ago. Right up here in, I think, maybe along this road? Yeah, just down here by these lakes, so not too far away. Maybe we could have some kind of magical encounter like that. So a little unfortunate here. We do have a max weight estimate rabbit, but at that score, it's not going to be a monster at level 2, but it actually does turn out. It seems there's quite a few bears up here. Had a couple of tracks, none huge yet, and honestly, basically 6 kilo. Gotta have 6.33 for diamond. But good to know that we're kind of on the right track here with a couple of those species, or really all the species that were missing from Layton. Elk, black bear, and white-tailed jackrabbits all are up in here. And obviously coyotes as well, which that's another one. We don't do much coyote hunting. It's kind of hoping for an opportunity kill. We got red fox that way in Hirschfelden. It sure would be nice if we could get a diamond coyote or a rare coyote and not have to actually spend time, you know, trying to catch a server with their drink time or something. I mean, they are definitely up here. I like where we're kind of going here. I don't know if we're going to get a shot at that guy. We just turned. Try to squeeze it in there before he gets behind the tree. That got a lung there with the 308. Not a bad deal. He's not a big one. But just kind of paying attention, listening for those warning calls, trying to pick up every track, which bear tracks maybe aren't the ones I focus on. Typically deer tracks and stuff, looking for those max weights. I think it gives us a better chance, and just knowing this is an area to actually check on, I think really helps us going forward. Just encouraging stuff, starting this hunt like really not being sure if we'd find any bears, to this area definitely being somewhere to come back to. But double along that guy at 153 actually. Not too bad. We're going to keep on moving south, getting close to Belmont now. You know, it could just be the case that we went through the wrong area of Belmont, but I kind of get the impression after one trip through there, up in Chopeka is actually better for black bear. I think, oh, we did get the heart. He turned just a tiny bit when we made that shot. First kind of decent moves of the hunt, but coming all the way down through. No sign of really any bears. I think maybe one like smaller male black bear track, and that was actually it compared to up north. We probably had 6 or 7 tracks, so we're gonna go and get our moves, and we're gonna keep on moving down through here and then maybe down into Renaki and just kind of see what we can find down there. And frankly, that may explain why we've shot probably, other than today, less than 5 bears on, you know, every trip combined here for the Layton Trophy Cabin series, but let's see if we can kind of turn things around, scoot across here into Renaki, and see what they've got going on down there. Now that's a little more encouraging. Got the score estimate along with the weight estimate on this level 2 jackrabbit. I feel like we're hunting New England the way that we're doing this. Actually smaller than the last at 5.77. Go figure. But typically I think when we hunt Layton Lakes, we generally just go with drink times. And the things that we're hunting, black bear, rabbits, coyotes, they'll drink in the middle of the night and rabbits not at all. But if we do want to hunt in daylight, one of the best ways is to look for tracks. And I think that's actually why New England can be so tough. If we're going to have a turkey fly right over, might as well get that as well. But that definitely, you know, maybe explains why our struggles with bobcats have been what they have. And I actually had considered doing New England today, but there was only one server and I couldn't stay connected to it, so off to Layton we went. Got a 4.20 turkey there. But this is definitely a different thing. I don't know that we've ever hunted Layton like this, basically just looking for tracks. It's working though, kind of like bobcats. We're getting max estimates, just not quite big enough. Yet another max estimate rabbit does not get us what we're after, another 4 to 5 score estimate. And in this case, I actually was not looking for tracks. I thought we'd come down here as we have a 5.58 just moving in the wrong direction. I think the estimate is exactly 5.60 to 6.38 kilos, so literally on the nose for just being a max weight estimate rabbit. But it's Blacktail drink time. I thought we'd kind of stroll down here and see if we could find any Blacktail drinking, just in case we can maybe improve on what we got or find a rare. There was a bear warning call there somewhere. I thought it was on the left. That would have been him there, so we're not going to worry about a level 4 at all. We'll continue looking for Blacktail a little bit. So this is kind of what we're after. Got a max estimate 4 here. And obviously last time we got a big rack diamond Blacktail, so it's not the main thing I want to look for. But because they're drinking and because we're kind of moving into this evening window, I expect to see more coyotes kind of out and about. I believe they feed in this window. If not, I'm not sure why I always seem to see them in the kind of later evening. So the hope is as we run around between these lakes, maybe we either stumble into coyotes that are just visible or get a max weight track, something like that. And I figure we're better off doing something in the meantime, as in hunting Blacktail, than just kind of aimlessly looking for tracks, which is kind of what we spent the first 2 hours of this hunt doing. And just maybe that will be the luck shift we need, but doubling that guy, 158 score is not bad. We're going to go ahead and scoot down to this lake. This is definitely a good area for coyotes too, so hopefully this kind of helps us in that aspect as well. So 2 things. Number 1, coyotes indeed feed in this window 1700 it starts. That makes perfect sense to me. The other thing though is, it just seems like we're only finding solos. We haven't had too many packs today, and that definitely makes it a little bit tougher. Obviously when you've got 5 coyotes in one spot, better chance one of them is decent, but this guy's kind of that mid-range for the weight. I was hoping we could find him quickly, but he must have really scooted out of there. That's going to be our guy, just a level 5. And we do have the 22-250, so a little bit more accuracy maybe, but a bit less punch. He was almost going to give that quartering angle. Can we get something? I wanted to go maybe like back of the neck there. That might be our best option, or maybe just. If he turns that way, he's determined to stay behind trees and give us no shot. I think we got the back of the neck there finally after being a little patient. And actually another track just beside where we got this guy. We did hit the skull, just barely. It's tough though, like much lower in the neck, you're skimming across the top of the back, and you have no penetration. 1.67 kilometers for a silver. Hopefully that's not something we spend much time doing anymore. Another kind of mid-range on the weight, but it's good that we're finding a bunch of them. Got some Blacktail down here. A whole bunch of Blacktail around this lake, but nothing all that special. I'd like to maybe stay here and continue hunting at night, but it gets so much tougher when it's dark. So I think we're going to maybe try another server for the last bit of this hunt. See if maybe that switch up gets us a little bit of a break. And just maybe, we might be onto something. This looks like a pack of coyotes as well. But we're just going to stick with the 1 max estimate track for now, at least till we get 1 or 2, just to kind of get the connect the dots on the map. Once we've got that going, we can click on the other tracks and see what we're looking at for some of the other coyotes. And I see the next track up there. So on the off chance there's multiple big ones, and you'll get that on occasion, that would be good to know, but looking like most likely only 1 max estimate coyote, and hopefully that's all we need. that's gonna be our pack of coyotes. Saw level 7 there, but that wasn't the max estimate. One, I think, scooted through before we got to spot them, and it must have been the big one. So I guess this goes a little bit farther. But that's kind of a little bit encouraging, I guess, that the lower weight estimate is a 7. Not that it means much of anything, the high estimate could be 2, but I'd like to see a good one in there. That's going to be our guy. A mythical, unfortunately, so not quite what we're after. Of course, he's going to get the speedy legs to get through there, but absolutely rolled him right between those two rocks. That wasn't bad. Got moose and black bear and stuff running all over the place. We're just kind of south of Willowpeg in Mount Kraken right now. Another pretty decent coyote spot, and this is actually the inverse of what we just had on the last server. When we joined this map, I think it was 7:30, spent a little time looking for elk, and coyotes are just kind of ending their morning feed time. That ended up being a 54 score, lower in that weight range. Hard shot him though. Never gonna complain about that. Definitely a good deal there. And hopefully a decent tone setter. We don't have a ton of time to continue hunting on this server, but definitely want to try to cover at least a couple of the good spots. So for our last stop today, we finally got a server that's early elk drink time, and I honestly don't know what we're looking at here. Just a big 4, but an interesting looking rack. I want to make sure too, because I think sometimes there's a drink zone on that side of the lake, but no such luck there. Got the attention of that level 4, and if we'll just stand still for a second, we'll squeeze a 308 shot in there. Should bring him down. And this time we've got like a 6 a.m. server, so we should be able to check a couple of elk spots. It's funny we got so focused on coyotes and bears and stuff, and I mean, for the most part, good information going forward. But I mentioned at the very beginning that troll elk, that's still something I want to replace, and especially, you know, given the fact that it is a species that drinks at a good time, we should be able to pretty effectively hunt them. I definitely want to get a proper diamond or rare in that slot. For now though, just what I'm going to guess is a decent gold. 324 despite the kind of strange looking frame. Double along with that 308. And let's see if we can find a couple more bulls before we wrap up today. And we do have another pretty decent bull here. Up to 355, but not the max weight estimate. I just wanted to make sure too. I think those are just common elk. Tough to tell in the shadows and low light, but let's go ahead. See if we can make that same shot on this guy. And then we're going to get up and go through High Lake and Calburn. This is probably the second best elk area going up through here. I find a lot of bulls down in these areas, and there's a couple down in Renaki as well, which frankly we should probably go and look at if we have the time. Nice of that guy to run a little closer and maybe save us some time. And if only that were a diamond, that would make for one heck of a screenshot. But $2.99 for that guy. I thought he might be a little better. Elk scoring is so simple though. It's literally main beam length, length of tines, and circumference. So doesn't have the double brows, doesn't have a lot of tines actually. What is he, a 5x5? I guess that really does start to cut into the overall score, but time is of the essence. It is 7 o'clock, so we're going to try to get up through High Lake. And unfortunately, as these two elk are just leaving their drink zone, I think this is going to be the first time that we don't add anything to the Layton Trophy Cabin, which it was only a matter of time until that actually happened, when we start to check off things like red deer, white-tailed deer, black-tailed deer. I mean, even the elk and wild boar, even though those were just trolls. At some stage, we're gonna have to start to look for some of the tougher things to hunt, and I guess mallards are actually even among that, unless a level 3 somehow shows up here. Looks like we'll be not returning to the trophy cabin today, but we'll be headed back to Hirschfelden next time in this series. Hopefully we can avoid getting skunked and trolled, and we'll see where that leads us. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.